Sophie, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do let me know. Hello, hello. Well, here I am. How are you? How was your night? I'm full of songs. I always tell people I'm like a human jukebox. I'm not necessarily full of the entire song, but I know a lot of songs. I can't help myself. This one is the Stained Glass Tarot. It's I have more decks than this, but I have small hands, so it's really hard for me to shuffle like normal tarot cards. So I have these like they're more like playing card size. I have this one, and then I have one that's called the Slavic Tarot and the Witch's Tarot. I have one called the Rainbow Tarot that I don't like as much. But yeah. Yeah, I was kind of keeping an eye on you to, make sure I didn't start until you were done. It's a crazy thing, I guess. I don't know. I suppose it doesn't really matter, but it mattered to me. But I thought, you know what? I need to do this as often as possible until I get used to doing stuff for people. So, how would you like a free tarot reading? You can be my guinea pig on reading for people online. How do you feel about that? Do you have a question? Oh, let me show you the Slavic one. Well, I always forget the name. Yeah, it's called Slavic Legends. I gotta get out here where you can see it. The Slavic Legends Tarot. I really like the artwork. It's very evocative, you know. And I like I'm sure I'm not going to be able to pull out the card I'm thinking of at the moment, but like the Strength card has this really like muscular man holding these two giant trees. Yeah. So, yeah, really. Really, as in, yes, I would be happy to do a reading for you if you have a question. It'll give me some practice. Okay, let's hear your question. Or let's see your question. You actually don't have to tell me your question if you can concentrate on it, and we'll just see what we get. Usually, when I read in person for people, okay, when I read for people in person, I generally don't ask them what their question is. I just tell them to really focus on it, on the situation. Um, and I do that to just kind of validate it for them so that they can't say, oh, she picked up signals from me or whatever. But what's your question, my friend? Is it Sophie or Sophia, by the way? I couldn't remember. Okay, think away. I can say just that because he's a Pisces that he's just looking for a hookup, but let's see. Um, I don't have a very high opinion of Pisces men, even though I'm a Pisces. I might have some prejudice there. Let's see. What's David want? Is he looking for a hookup, or is he actually looking for something more? Or let me put it a different way. All men are looking for a hookup. I mean, they are. But is he wanting, maybe he's not aware that he wants something more. So let's see what we see. Okay, is David looking for a hookup, or is he looking for a relationship? Is he looking for a hookup, but really deep down inside he wants a relationship? Yeah, let's see. So let's just do the 5 cards, okay? So we have Judgment. There's kind of a delay from when it actually shows up on my screen. We have the 4 of Swords reversed. We have the Emperor reversed. We have the 7 of Wands reversed. And we have the 4 of Pentacles reversed. Well, the first thing you need to ask you is, how do you feel about submissive men? Like men that want to be the submissive one. Because when I see that the Emperor reversed, I see someone that either that's the role they want to take on, or that's they've been through an experience where they have been in that kind of relationship. Okay, good. I get the feeling that they, we look at the 4 of Swords, I feel like, and Judgment, I'm feeling like, and also the 7 of Wands actually. Has he been in, do you know if he's been out of a relationship very long? Okay. I get the feeling that he was really hurt because he was in a relationship with someone who's very aggressive, and he took that subordinate role. And so that's kind of like, what's the expression? He's kind of been emotionally castrated by this person. And, and Ram, that's interesting considering he's the Pisces. But I feel like he's been emotionally castrated by someone, or maybe someone's, maybe there are many experiences. And it doesn't necessarily have to have been a romantic relationship. It could be that his family, or it could be the kind of job he has. So he's very tentatively kind of getting out there again. I say tentatively because we see the 4 of Swords, which we know is like retreating from being out in the world, but it's reversed, which means that he's kind of dipping his toe in. And, when you talk about Pisces people, they can be very easily gun shy, and they can be very easily really interesting. Very that makes me wonder if that's what his writing is. I'm really curious. But I get the feeling that he's willing to go out there, like he's kind of come to a place of balance, but he's still really tentative about it. He doesn't feel really sure. Yeah, I am. Funny story. Pisces have some pretty big. Well, generally speaking, Pisces usually have pretty big kinks, about the sexual kinks that might be shocking for some people. And I can totally see a Pisces expressing that through their writing, because it wouldn't be accepted in their actual romantic life. I'm not sure. But anyway, I do think that he has been castrated or emasculated by someone or some situation, and he is kind of stepping out. He is kind of taking back what was his, so he's moving in the right direction. And then the 4 of Pentacles reverse. How is he financially? Do you know his financial situation? Because having that 4 of Pentacles reversed is not a good thing as far as like his money situation. Has he? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't remember what's your sign. I remember you saying before Aquarius. Are you an Aquarius? I think you said you were an Aquarius. I think you might find him a little tedious in the long term. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that just based on what I'm seeing here, you might find him a little tedious in the long term because Aquariuses they're fixed signs. First of all, they've got very strong points of view and opinions, and the Pisces is more likely to be more um, whatever you say, dear, whatever you say, dear, and that could be tiring. So I think that what you need to ask yourself is, are you looking for a hookup? Because it could be a lot of fun. Um, they do have a really rich fantasy life and they can kind of be that for you. But um, I don't know. I think you need to get more information about him. I'm going to look at something here. Oh, interesting. So I was looking at the cards on the bottom of the deck. It's a beautiful card, actually, the world. I think that he's probably just going to be a temporary situation. Yeah, I don't think that. I think that when you've got that Four of Pentacles reversed, I don't think he has a lot of money, which is kind of typical of Pisces. They have a hard time taking money very seriously. I have a hard time with it, actually. Um, but that doesn't mean you can't go out and have a good time if he's your type. Mm. For me personally, I am not one to just, there are a lot of people out there who tell me that I should just go out and sow my oats. Of course, I'm really too old to care about that anymore, but back in the day, um, but it's not in my nature to do that. Um, so it's really, up to you whether it's in your nature. Can you um, be involved with someone and let it just be that, or are you going to get what's what I'm looking for, like a spiritual connection with them pretty quickly and then end up, yeah. Well, like I said, I think I think probably just leave it be. I don't know. It's up to you, but I'm not feeling like this is a good match for you, especially if you're looking for a serious relationship. If you were looking for a serious relationship for an Aquarius, my goodness, you might do well with a Leo, actually. Do you like Leos? Us artistically natured people, I don't know. But anyway, getting back to the sex thing, I don't even know that he'd be that great in bed anyhow because they can be so like, oh no, no, you don't want that. You don't want that. I really don't think that's going to be good for you. Oh my goodness, I've got all this stuff happening on my Venmo. I apologize. Hi, Julie. Um, so my final answer: if you feel like you just want to do like a good time thing with him and you cannot get attached, go for it. But I would say that for a long term relationship, he's probably not the one. How's that? And Julie, I received your donation. Julie, would you please write your question in the chat? Yeah, actually, be honest, Sophie, I can take care of myself much better than any man I've ever been with. Oh my goodness, it's because the Leos are so generous and so charming and so sparkly. I mean, you can totally get behind that because you're the humanitarian, right? You're the one that thinks of everybody. But Leos can be a little egotistical. They can think of just themselves. So I can see the attraction to the Pisces because they tend to be more caring and loving. But you know who else is? Is Cancers. Capricorns. They can be those things. You're welcome. We'll have to collaborate sometime. I think I've got some ideas. Okay, so Julie, you are up. Julie, what is your question? Thanks, Sophie. Julie, what is your question? Just throw it out there for me, girl. Throw it out there. Oh, Julie, I don't answer questions about health. I can't do health or legal because it can become a problem. So I can't do health. Julie, I hope that your little ears aren't burning because Sophie and I are getting a little spicy in here. Julie, can you phrase it another way where it's not necessarily about physical health? Or can you think of another question? Yeah, girl, I got a ton of Aquarius. I got plans on plans. I got ideas. I'll talk to you about it though. Julie, how'd you like the Julie? I know Sophie. I know Julie from. Oh, okay. So this is for your sister Jacqueline, and you want to know what I'm seeing for her future. So with the 5 card, the mini reading, it's probably going to be more of like the immediate future. So I hope that will work for you. That doesn't mean I won't get a long distance thing, but I'm just thinking because it's the 5 cards, probably more of an immediate future. So what we're wanting to know is for Julie's sister, Jacqueline, what am I seeing for her future? Julie's sister, Jacqueline. Is it Jacqueline or like you're going to be able to tell me? I hope I'm saying it right. It's either Jacqueline or Jacqueline. Julie's sister, Jacqueline. All right, let's see what we see. Let's see what we see. All right. So, first card, Ace of Cups. That's a good one. Good one to come out with. Second, King of Wands. King of Wands. Ooh. Third, Strength. I think that things are very favorable for her right now. Judgment. And 10 of Swords reversed. That's good to see reversed, Julia. I want to tell you that. Okay. So just the overall vibe of this. Oh my goodness, girl. This is a very good thing. When we look at the aces, we look at the highest vibration of the water side, the water element. And I always tell people it's like a seed that with the right nurturing and care will grow into something quite lovely. And so I think her emotional life is going to be really blossoming in the next few weeks, especially her emotional life. Possibly creativity could come into play because right next to it we see the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is fire on fire, and he's very much about inspiration and creativity, bringing her emotional life and her inspiration and her creativity together to make some really beautiful. Okay, what came into my mind, because remember I've talked about how like words will come into my mind, to make some really beautiful music. And she is, has she gone through some kind of, you don't have to give me details, but with the Strength card in this lovely spread here, I see someone who has overcome some things. They have overcome some things that have really stood in the way of them moving forward. And that's such a beautiful thing to see. Um, so I would say that she has overcome, okay, the word that comes to my mind, her demons. She's overcome her demons. Um, and is she an artist? Does she do artistic things? Does she sing or does she make art of any kind? How does she express? What does she use to overcome those things? Because the Ace of Cups and the King of Wands were very much talking about expression in some way. So if she's not doing it already, um, I would definitely say that what would be helpful to her is to, okay, sing out her feelings, sing out her feelings, and also she might want to look into writing poetry. I feel like these two cards together with really speak to someone who is of a poetic nature, who is the poet. So I would encourage her, as far as her writing, to maybe look into poetry. But definitely, she's definitely a creative phase right now, and it is really helping her. As I look down at the bottom here, I see Judgment and I see the Ten of Swords reversed. So she's recently rejected a way of life that was causing her harm. It's like she didn't get it, that it was causing her harm. But now she's realized it. Now, sometimes judgment can be harsh. Like, it could actually be a situation like maybe there was an involvement with the law. Or it can be simply a realization. Maybe some friends or family got with her and said, look, you're on the wrong path. Um, you need to find balance again. You need to find your way. And she has, because the very last card there is the Ten of Swords, which is reversed. That's really good, because the Ten of Swords revert, it can be very, it's like it's like she took the hard road. It's like, I'm going to choose the most difficult path possible to come to this place of healing. And she's done that, and she has broken through, and now she's doing much better. I hope that answers the question about your sister. Another, on the bottom of the deck, we have another ace, the Ace of Wands. So there's a lot of inspiration, creativity that's coming from her emotional, intuitive center. So Julie, I hope that was helpful for your sister. It seems like it was on the right track there. Julie, I'm so glad you showed up. I started this really late. My official start was like at 2:00 on Thursday, but you're welcome, Julie. It's nice to see you. But then Sophie kind of inspires me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And I'm just going to go and go and go until I get so used to it that I just like it's a piece of cake, because I was super nervous. Julie, how did you like the sale last night? I didn't really attend it. I just kind of hung out for like briefly in the beginning, and then I just dropped it. Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't realize she was there with you. Well, Jacqueline or Jacqueline, I hope that you really explore that artistic part of you. Yeah, I went to the very beginning of it, and then I didn't. I'm really trying not to buy anything, so I think I go just for the company sometimes. But yeah, this is I just um I'm going to you don't know Sophie, but I was I do collages and journals and all that. Yeah, I can't. I am. It's really weird. It's the same thing when I'm teaching. Like, I used to be a teacher, right? And up until recently, I was teaching online, and then I'm like, but I was finding that I would get so anxious and just dreading it. But then the minute I see the kids, it's like a light turns on or something. And it's the same thing with the tarot. Oh, Julie is one of. Remember, I told you that I learned about StreamYard from people who do live vintage sales. Julie is one of the people that go to the sales. And a couple, I guess it was last month, they invited me to do my crafts because I make journals and collages and things like that. And that last one, I offered tarot readings, and Julie bought one of the tarot readings. So that's how I know her. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, anyway. So back to what I was saying. So I don't think I'm going to sell stuff anymore because I'm not really I don't feel like for me, it's a lot of stress to like create art, artistic things to sell. I'm not like buying things at thrift stores and selling them. I'm making them. And I found that the, it wasn't worth the reward. What am I trying to say? The return was not worth the reward, wasn't worth the return, or something like that. I can't talk. Um, but as I was talking to Sophie about earlier, um, I am getting really obvious, like hit you over the head with a 2x4 um, messages from spirit that I need to focus on my spiritual talents rather than my artistic talents. And that's both of them are hard to do because, the world out there, they tell you that that is not the way that you succeed in the world, right? You succeed in the world by having a real job and doing real work. So I struggle with that. Um, so anyway, that's how we know each other, Sophie. It is a hard choice. Well, and I think I talked about this in Sophie, I have another channel called The Designated Crafter, and I posted a video where I talked about this subject. I don't have very much support from my family. My family is very much, meat and potatoes, you're only a real person if you have a real job. And um, not unlike most Pisces, it didn't really fit in. Yeah. And so, and my brother lives right next door. It's a long story, but um, so I really struggle with feeling imposter syndrome, I think is what they call it. Even though I get a lot of positive feedback and I get a lot of messages from spirit that you too, yeah, that this is the right thing for me to do, I still, I struggle. So I'm so grateful for the support that you guys give. Do remember, if speaking of support, to click the like button too while you're here. So that's very helpful to me. So Sophie, how do you feel about? Yeah, did you talk about that? Were we talking about going to grad school to get like was it marriage family counselor credentials? Was it that you were talking about before? I'm so glad we met too, Julie. I just always get a real good vibe from you. And fat bottom girls make the rock and roll go round. So there you go. I don't know if you remember that, but I threw that at you at one of our chats. Um, I feel like I talked with you about that, Sophie, because I had said that at one point when I was in college, which wasn't all that long ago, because I was 42 when I went to college, I was going to be an art therapist. That was my goal, to get a master's in art therapy, and I abandoned that goal. You make the rock and roll go round, Julie. Um, but anyway, I've been talking to Sophie about her and I possibly collaborating on something like a live that where we both like share the screen, but maybe we are presenting like information to people about how they can explore tarot for themselves. Are you little, Julie? Are you like really petite? Yeah, I used to have when I was doing my in-person readings, this was in a different town, different life. I came up with this idea, and I guess I'm talking to you, Sophie. But I bet you're beautiful in your own way, because snakes are beautiful. Okay, so what we would do is we would pick two tarot cards, and for example, the Fool and the Hermit, and we would compare them. Each give our own uh, version of comparing like the Fool and the Hermit. How are they the same? How are they different? I would say what I see in it, and then you would say what you see in it. And so it's more like people watching this dialogue between readers and kind of seeing how the tarot is like has so much more to it than just like just a straight interpretation. It means this and this. So and I also have a book which I probably can't pull off gracefully, but I also have yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would like that. See how we both do different variations. So that might be a fun thing to do. Um, I think that there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I can't read tarot or I can't do it," but I think that although you do have to have a good foundation, you have to learn what the cards mean. It's more to it than that. I think that we're going to talk about parts of our body that we're not comfortable with. I think the thing that I dislike most about my body is my ankles. I have cankles. I've never had pretty little ankles. I have Flintstone feet. Um, and I guess I've always wanted to have those delicate little ankles that normal people have. Yeah. Oh yeah. That would be, yeah, we could do that too. We could totally do it. I don't know if I know you use a different service, but StreamYard has the thing where you can have a guest. Maybe yours does too. So we'll have to talk about that some more for sure. Julie, you think that would be interesting? Julie, do you have a tarot deck? My little Muppet friend? There's a guy, I don't agree with everything that he says. He goes by the name of Morg, and he's on YouTube. He's set up like his own religion, I guess. What kind of deck do you have, Julie? But anyway, he's done a little series on the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, and the Tarot, which I found instructive. Yeah, I spent. I'll tell you the story of how I ended up reading tarot if I haven't already. So I worked at an HEB, which is a like what card deck do you have, Julie? Like, do you have the Rider Waite, or do you have some other like version of it? Um, and a friend of mine, and I went over to her house, and she had the Mother Peace deck, which is a round deck. It's a very feminist one. Oh my goodness, me? One, two. I used to have a lot more, but I lost a lot of them. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I have like 10 or 12 decks right now. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so she had the Mother Peace deck, which is a very feminist oriented round deck, and she did a reading for me, and she was literally reading out of the book what the meanings were. And I was so, this is the Aquarius in me, I was so enthralled by how spot on accurate it was for the situation that I was asking her to read for, that I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Um, that I had to find out how it worked, and so I went out and bought myself a deck and taught myself the meaning of all the cards, and then I started reading for like other people, and then I started reading professionally, and yada yada yada. I didn't know that you may have said that you studied Kabbalah. I didn't know there was, what is the Jewish Kabbalic witch? That's probably too. Oh my gosh, Julie, you're an Aquarius too? Wow. We know what all the Aquariuses are doing late at night. What is a Kabbalic witch? Is that like I had a feeling that I saw somewhere that you were Jewish, and I know that the Kabbalah is part of Jewish mysticism, but I don't know how that fits into like witchcraft. Yeah, I'm not an Aquarius. I'm a Pisces, but I've got a stellium in Aquarius, so that counts for something. I have my Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter all in Aquarius. I think it is. My birthday's March 10th. 123. Yes, I think it's Jewish mysticism. So I don't know a whole lot about Jewish mysticism except that it exists. I would say that um, I would probably characterize myself as a witch, but I'm not really practicing. Um, I've gone through all the various stages of witchcraft, and now it's what I find is I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. According to women can't study it. Oh, the movie Yentl. That's what. Oh, women can't do anything in a lot of these book religions, can they? You're on both ends, huh? You are the Aquarius bookends. That's how I shall. I have named you, and you shall be forevermore the Aquarius bookends, and that's the way it goes. She was into that. Um, that was like a Chabad. Was it Chabad, or is that something else? I want to say that there. No, I think Chabad was something else. Yeah. So I don't do spell work anymore. It's more like I think it into existence, I guess, for lack of a better word. I find that a lot of manifestation, most of the problems you have are because you kind of get in your own way. Reform Jewish. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you're practicing a Jew then? Is that you're practicing Jew? Fun fact: my husband, I say my first husband, but my only husband. We're divorced now. My son's father is was Jewish, or he still is. I mean, it's not he stopped being Jewish. Well, you know what though? I think that the it's only the hardcore ones that you're a gender queer lesbian. Well, congratulations, Julie. Julie, I know what a lesbian is. I don't know what gender queer is. I'm not really up on the meaning of the different things. Yeah, I don't really know much about either of the things you guys are talking about, I'm afraid. Okay, cool. I've never been to Temple. My ex-husband, he was raised Jewish, but they were not like they didn't attend temple, but they did the holidays. And when we got married, we would do Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and all those fun things with the Jewish community. Okay, so Julie, when you say non-binary, so what you're saying is that you prefer women, but you yourself don't really feel female or male. Would that be right? I think a lot of people that that get into mysticism in one form or another usually come from, a lot of them come from the Catholic Church. Maybe because the Roman Catholic Church really preserves the mystery of spirituality. Yeah, it is complicated. Too complicated for my brain, I'm afraid. But I respect, full respect. Um, I'm trying really hard not to say something stupid. Because that'd be what I do. I say stupid things. I had I don't identify as male. That's why I gendered queer. Okay. Yeah. I like the word queer, and I'm talking about back in the Stone Age when I was young. Um, it has a different meaning now than it had when I was really young. To me, queer means a man who's gay, someone who identifies who's male and likes men. But I know it's not quite that. So, so queer is kind of a replacement for the inadequate bi description. Is that what I hear you saying? Yeah, I don't. This is the thing that I've always thought was strange to me. Not from your point of view, but from the point of view of your typical heterosexual person. Um, I don't walk up to people and say and ask them if they're heterosexual. So why should I care who you love or how you want to express yourself or um, how you feel? It's not pertinent to our relationship. You know, you are who you are, and I like you for who you are, and not for who you love or what your proclivities are. Assuming that your proclivity isn't murdering people, I would have a problem with that. Queer could cover everyone. A friend of mine told me, now she's a millennial. She said that I am, oh, what was it? A demisexual. She said I was demisexual because I need to have an emotional connection with someone before I would sleep with them. That was the reason why she thought I was demisexual. I have no idea. No idea. But she says that she is, there's another word for it, asexual. What's the word for when you don't have any sexual feelings at all? No romantic feelings. I know it's a different word, but I can't remember what it was. We have 5 lovely people watching. So if you're one of our shy people watching, please, come on in, say hi. You don't have to do a reading to talk, unless you don't want to talk about this subject. I mean, that's okay too. You're an older millennial, attracted to intellect. Gosh, I think we're kind of covering the gamut, right? Because I'm in my 60s, I'm 63, Julie's 51, asexual, and Starry, you're an older millennial, so I'm thinking you're like in your early 40s. Is that right? Okay, that is it. Seems like she said it was another thing. But anyway, no, that's okay. We're just hanging out. I haven't seen any more donations come in, so I'm assuming that people are just hanging out, and that is totally okay. Totally okay. You're going to be subjected to my singing, I'm afraid. I wish I could remember. But anyway, apparently I am demisexual, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because to me, it's like, well, I can't wrap my mind around someone who, I realize that people are that way, but I can't wrap my mind around someone who would want to be intimate with someone that they don't have an emotional connection with, you know? 39, okay. Well, Julie, you can come out here. You can pretty much be anything here as long as you're not abusing people. It hurts me very much to see people being abusive to others. I can't. It's the Pisces in me again. I just can't. There was a, that's the reason why I'm not on Facebook very much because um, even though everyone that's in my feed is someone I've met face to face, I would join groups that had the same interest. Thank you. Had the same. That's the Taurus moon, my friend. Taurus is the throat. Um, I would join groups because they'd be like a mutual interest, and sooner or later there'd be some nasty person come in there and say something really mean just out of spite, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. And I would leave the groups, and I'm like, this is exhausting to me. To to the point where I would say that I isolate quite a bit because I just can't. I don't know if it's because I've gotten older or what, but I just can't deal with meanness. Um, yeah, and it's so hard to get out of an abusive situation. I think I don't like intolerance either. Well, I think like the person who says, "Well, why don't you just leave?" Yeah, yeah, but you can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. People have to find their own way out of their situations. That would make it really hard. It's hard to be objective in those situations. But I have learned, like even like my brother is he's in Gemini, and we have a very difficult relationship. But I know that he's been through a lot in his life, and that's what makes him the way he is. It doesn't excuse him from being the way he is, but it certainly explains him. And I just have come to the realization that we're just never going to have a relationship beyond the most shallow possible. It's just not going to happen. That's too bad. But anyway, mean people make me cry. They just shut me down. So don't be mean to me with that. It takes an awful lot to get me to be mean back. I mean, an awful lot. I don't know about you guys. Who's got a hot temper in here? Anybody got a what do they call it? Short fuse? I would imagine both of you Aquariuses are have good boundaries. You're like, nope, talk to the hand. I can feel this music just kind of bubbling up inside of me. Maybe I sing to fill in the emptiness, the gaps. Oh my goodness. Well, my dear friends, it is time for me. Julie, are you now? Julie, never mind. Never mind. I was going to say something stupid. I knew I would. Let me tell you a story. I was going to go ahead and wrap it up since it's almost time, midnight, but I'm going to tell you a story about lesbians, okay? Um, my, uh, I spent most of my early adult life as an evangelical Christian. And I didn't hate lesbians, but I didn't understand them, as afraid of them. My environment taught me that it was wrong. Okay. So, but I had a point in my life where uh, I was in an abusive relationship. The man was stalking me, and my boss was a lesbian, and she was in a relationship with another woman. They had a home. They had two boys, and she took me in, and she and her partner took such good care of me, better care of me than anyone ever had. They provided a place for me to sleep. They fed me. They sheltered me until I could get out of that situation and into my own place. And it changed my perspective, and it made me realize, not that I was ever a very judgy person, but it just made me realize that people are people, you know? And it just really changed me. So I would say that I was saved by a lesbian. She really was a very nurturing, lovely person, and so was her partner. So it means a lot to me, or meant a lot to me at that time. That was way back in the day. But on what you were going to say, Julie, my understanding with lesbian relationships is that they tend to like stay friends. Like it's kind of there's kind of a meshed kind of thing that goes on sometimes with lesbian relationships. I don't know. I don't need to understand to accept. Oh, well, I'm an open book, except for my weird kinks, which, being a Pisces, I have them, but I will not share them. Anyway, friends, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for the evening. And yes, for sure. I can't tell. I can't express how much it meant to me, how much it changed my life. But anyway, I will be back on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, and tell your friends. But I I probably will I probably will come on whenever I feel like it, between now and then, because I'm trying to get used to doing this, and I owe this all to Sophie. Really, she's the one that I found her, and she encouraged me. I'm so glad that you did too. Have a good night, ladies. I'm sorry if ladies is the wrong term, but people who are lovely. Have a good night. I will see you another time. Bye bye.